On the morning of October 3rd, I got the call from a deputy out in the field. He said that there was a sexual assault on an elderly woman and that she was at the hospital at the time. His initial words were that she was covered with bruises head to toe.
She had been severely beaten from the top of her head, basically to her feet. Bruises on her face, 2 black eyes, bruises on her shoulders, everywhere.
It was clear that she was in a lot of pain and had been brutally attacked.
There was some concern whether she was going to make it or not.
We need to figure out who did this to her. All right, Susan, right now what I'd like to do is just start at the very beginning and let you tell me each thing that happened as it happened to the best of your recollection, okay?
Around 1:30, I heard a knock on the door, and he said that his car broke down and he needed to use my phone. So I got my cell phone, shoved it out the door, and closed the door. And then he pretended like he was calling, and he says, "Okay, I'm done, here's your cell phone." So I opened the door and he pushed his way in and grabbed me. And that's when he put that, it's like a table runner on the back of my couch, and he wrapped it around real tight.
And he wrapped it just around your whole face?
Yeah, he was hitting me, and he tied me up with what felt like wire. Oh, and then I think he went into my refrigerator and got some oil, and he was putting that all over me, and he just was pushing me around, and eventually he raped me, and he continued to rape me for like 5 hours.
We were very fortunate that she was able to provide lots of clues that I was then able to give to other detectives on what to look for at the house. As far as like an attack and a rape goes, it's probably up there with the most brutal that I've seen in my career.
Have you had anybody out there working on your house lately?
I have.
Who's that?
I have Eric, and he's painting my house.
Red flags go up. I thought that Eric was probably going to be our guy. Once we talked to Eric, we were able to kind of rule him out. But he brought us on to a coworker of his named Alan Rickman.
He was able to tell them that Alan worked for him at the log cabin. And he described that Alan had been at work in the morning of the attack, that he did act kind of off, and he appeared to have some kind of injury on his arm that he was trying to hide all day.
I went in and took a look at him, and I could immediately see scratches all over his hands and on his arms. But he had scratches on his legs, and things that he could not explain away. We placed him in custody and basically asked at that point in time for permission, consent to search his vehicle.
And we found items in the car that were very concerning. There was women's underwear. Some of those underwear contained blood. There was pornographic magazines. They found like a bottle of oil, cooking oil.
We seized the car and brought it back to the sheriff's office, and then took Mr. Rickman to the Benton County Jail.
Okay, tell us what you remember, and then we'll just go from there.
Pulled up into her driveway. I unlocked her door. She answered it. Pushed the door open on her.
Then what happened?
And I proceeded to take her clothes off and have sex with her. And I noticed that she was bleeding a lot. So I took her downstairs and washed her off.
You raped her, right? Because she wasn't consenting, was she? Here's part of the thing is she's got a lot of bruising on her.
I don't understand why she bruised like she did.
Why?
But I didn't really beat on her.
Okay, tell me why you did that.
I did because I don't know.
Were you angry?
No,
Was
I
it
don't
rough?
know.
The clothes that were in your car, did any of those clothes come from her house?
I'm not sure. I mean, I've had these panties for freaking ever. I took underwear from different places I was at. I'd take them from homes.
Okay, is any of that her blood?
I don't know.
Okay. You told us part of it, but I'd like to still know why. I'd like to know why.
Why I did what I did.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I did what I did. I don't know why.
You've got to know. You're the one that did it.
I just did it.
No. Stop.
I don't know.
Look, stop the theatrics, okay?
Can I be done, please?
Yep. Let me. We're gonna put the handcuffs on you. Go outside. Give me just a second. And I'll get you squared up, okay? You got any questions for us, Ellen? You got any questions for us? Okay. Thank you for visiting with us.
Alan.
And we'll be right back, okay?
We felt like we had got everything that we needed to corroborate with the physical evidence and the story that Susan had told. So once the interview was over, it felt good because you get the who, what, when, where, how.
I'll stand up for him.
The why is the one thing that you rarely get. And maybe Alan doesn't even know the why. And we don't always know.
Susan was at the brink of death, but she has faith in the one that can save her soul. And that's where her strength comes from, her faith.
I tell everyone, no one can keep you from prayer. And so I remember the silent prayer that I prayed. I said, Jesus, I want to live. I need to survive. After they took me to the Gravett Hospital, I got worse and they rushed me to the ICU. And so I don't remember anything after that. I don't know what happens to your brain when you're in a coma, but to me, I was in East Africa. And I was setting these women free out of this house. I remember the nurse came into my room after I woke up, and so she asked me, do you know where you are? And I said, I'm in East Africa. It was a long healing process. Because of the sepsis, my hands literally died and my feet. So the doctor said that we need to amputate your hands or you're gonna die. A week later or so, they had to amputate my legs below the knee. There was never any doubt. I was gonna do what I needed to do to gradually be able to learn to walk.